Alright, before we get into it, let me just get this disclaimer stuff out of the way so we can get into the meat and potatoes, or rather the melons and fish? I don't know, I ain't as good at this innuendo stuff as Miss Sugar Dust over here. Originally, I wanted to start the video with me reading the wiki for Bejeweled 2 for 3 minutes to try and keep YouTube from blasting monetization off this video, but I've just accepted that I'm gonna have to hold that L. Regardless, I'm going to cover anything potentially dangerous with Fire Emblem waifus in order to keep my channel intact. Now that I've kept it $1.50 with you all, which is about 90 cents more than I'll make on this video, let's talk about the game. Huniepop 2 Double Date is the sequel to the original Huniepop, which came out over 6 years ago, back in January 2015. Now, fundamentally, gameplay is still the same, as you are still playing a match 3 based eroge, only now there's a twist. Instead of embarking on an incel's journey to Chaddom, you are now trying to stop the Nymphogym from obliterating the universe. Yeah, so there's a plot this time around, although it takes itself about as seriously as Spaceballs does. Your goal is to accumulate enough pairs of fairy wings to make an offering to Mount Nympho Jaro, which you get by having a threesome, so that you can awaken the Nymphogyn from their 10,000 year slumber to satiate their lust and prevent galactic destruction. So, in case you couldn't already tell, this game's writing is self-aware and it's hilarious. The game never takes itself seriously, and Q's dialogue is even better this time around, though sadly, she's not one of the main girls this time. But just like the first game, there are 12 girls you gotta bang, with 2 returning from the first game, 3 original to this game, and the remaining 7 coming from Honeycam Studio. Remember that game? I remember that game, and it gave me more wrist pain than Kid Icarus Uprising. As for the girls' personalities, they can be hit or miss, as they range from the chill and hilarious supermodel Ashley to the annoying-ass weeaboo Sarah. While you might find a character completely insufferable, you don't really spend that much time with each of them, despite technically going on more dates. In this game, you go on 2 double dates with each of the 24 pairings, meaning that you do go on the same number of dates as the original, and yes, while this does mean each girl gets more dates overall, what you see is what you get with these ladies. Brooke is a gold digger, Nora grew up in the ghetto, and Abia thinks of loot scenarios more often than a harem protagonist. One thing I will give the original more credit for is that the girls were better fleshed out in that game, as part of the puzzle came from trying to understand their personality to milk more honey out of them. You do still get honey by picking the right dialogue options in this game, but the amount you get is negligible. As for the honey itself, it takes on a different form in this game, as instead of having a bank of the stuff, you now get trait seeds. Each successful date will net you a set amount of seeds that you can then use in the shop. The shop is filled with items that you'll need to boost your stats. You buy smoothies to give the girls in order to boost your stats in their favorite trait, shoes net you style points which increase the chance of power tokens appearing, general gifts do the same for passion, date gifts make the match 3 segments easier, and food can give free sentiment or passion, or even recharge a lady's stamina. Now before I talk about the actual match 3 aspects, I should go over the prep you gotta do before you go on the double dates. Before the date itself begins, you can give any of the items I just mentioned. However, more important than that is making sure that you chat up these girls. Whether or not you get the answer right isn't what matters, as what you really want are the extra moves you get from talking. You have to try and get as many moves and bonuses as possible in this stage, while making sure you maintain a proper level of stamina before going into the date. Now that I've explained what all the mechanics in the hub do, let's go over the date themselves, as they are not easy. While I had a success rate of about 90 to 95% in the first game, my success rate in this game was just above 60%. I mean, it's passing, but not by much. This is due in part to the new stamina system they added. The way stamina works in this game is that each girl has a bar next to her icon that depletes each time you make a move. While you focus on one girl, the other will recharge her stamina for each move you make. You can also recharge stamina by matching stamina tokens. It sounds simple at first, but there are 2 important aspects to keep in mind. The first is that you can lose dates not only by running out of moves, but by also having both girls be upset or tired. They get upset if you match broken heart tokens, and become tired if they run out of stamina. Switching between girls isn't enough to keep the bounce in check, as there's another bouncing mechanic in play. While each combo of 3 drains 1 stamina, matches of 4 or higher do bring you closer towards the goal, but they also eat up additional stamina. I'll be the first to say that I am not a fan of this change. It should feel satisfying pulling off a big match, but you usually have to pass on those moves in order to balance your stamina. There's also the fact that passion and sentiment is split between the girls, and maybe it's because I suck at match 3, but I rarely got the chance to give a date a big match in her preference without it leading to a fuck up. However, it's not just the stamina system you have to keep an eye on, as there's also the addition of baggage. As you talk more with the girls, they will tell you about their baggage. This gives your dates a permanent debuff of which they can get up to 3, although on normal, you only have to deal with one of the 3 chosen at random at a time. Baggage effects can range from completely benign to aggravatingly infuriating. Baggage can have a wide range of effects, as some baggage prevents you from doing certain moves, while others lock you from using specific date gifts on either partner, making it so that there isn't a dominant strategy that you can use for every pairing, and I do like those types of baggage. The ones I dislike are the ones that are complete bullshit, like anything that involves Nora or Sarah. Nora, being a fucking bitch, will either cause more broken hearts to fall, throw away gifts if she's upset, or have abandonment issues. This baggage causes Nora to drain 5% of the total affection you have if you simply focus on another girl. To counter this and any baggage that restricts certain gifts, you have to deliberately exhaust your date so you can play the game without restrictions. Now, I do like that idea as a mechanic, as it is a clever workaround since you can play around it, but you know what you can't play around? Everyone's favorite video game mechanic, RNG. Several of the girls have some sort of baggage that is luck dependent, and there is fuck all you can do about it. Listen, I get that Sarah is supposed to be annoying as fuck.
I'm not!
And while giving her RNG-based baggage is a good way of upholding ludonarrative consonance, it's fucking stupid from a game design perspective to have RNG that works against you in a match 3. That also brings me to a somewhat game-breaking bug I discovered. You know why I really hate Nora and her daddy issues? It's because of the bonus round. The bonus round is achieved after a successful double date and is how you get your smexy time. Now, why does the easy part of the game make me dislike Nora so much? For some reason, Nora's baggage isn't disabled during the bonus round, meaning that her abandonment issues will cause you to lose more points than you earn with a match 3 if she's one of the later people you bang. I got so sick of hearing Nora go,
whatever, adios,
that I muted the game to power through it. It literally would have taken me less time to re-roll that date until she didn't have that stupid baggage, but the fact that I would have to do that is really dumb, and I hope that this bug gets patched out soon so other people don't suffer through what I did. I know that there are some gifts that do block baggage, but that's only if you get lucky enough to get those gifts in the shop, and I personally found it better to work around it as best as possible, like the game intended. And even though I had it blocked when I got to the bonus round, that didn't stop it from going off. So while I like the idea behind the baggage system, some of them, especially the RNG based ones, should have been reworked in my opinion, and I personally would have preferred having a set timer activating them. That way, I wasn't getting constantly screwed over by 20% chances happening twice in a row. Overall, Huniepop 2 is a harder game than the original, and while it is tough, there isn't any real penalty for failing a date aside from wasting time. Do I think this game is better than the original? Here's how I would put it. I personally think that the first Huniepop is a more fun game, but I do admire the attempts to take the match 3 gameplay to the next level in the sequel and make the game more mechanically complex, but I think some of the ideas don't live up to their potential. However, Huniepop 2 is easily a better eroge than the first game. For those of you into the good shit, this game surpasses the original in every way. From the voice acting, the fire soundtrack, to the many outfits that leave very, and I mean very little to the imagination, and the sheer quantity of enhanced art, this game blows the first out of the puna when it comes to that stuff. There's also the final boss, which is your encounter with the Nymphogen. I'm not gonna spoil it here, but honestly, that was a surprisingly satisfying and intense final boss. It's a fair challenge that pushes you, all while maintaining all the great writing and good gameplay aspects of the game, which culminates into a truly epic climax. Hey, maybe I'm not so bad at making innuendos. Anyways, that's the video, folks. I think this is the first ever proper review I've done on my channel, and it's kind of hilarious that I'm doing it on Huniepop of all things, but it was a fun time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I didn't want to say it at the start of the video to not look like a shill, but I left a link to my Streamlabs in the description, and if anyone still watching this wants to help me out by leaving a tip there, I'd greatly appreciate it, since realistically, I'm not going to earn a dime for my efforts on this. Anyways, if you can't afford to leave anything there, totally understandable, but if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you left a like, as that really does help me, and consider checking out my other content, although nothing I've made or will make is going to be anything like this video. Alright then, that's all for me. Peace!